This is day 1 with Brilliant. He's a 3-year-old warm blood. Day 1, I worked on introducing him to the flag and to lunging cues. So here he is getting his first look at the flag, which he thought was pretty interesting. And then he thought was really annoying. And he didn't hold back on telling me that. So we worked through just touching and getting him to where he was not so upset by it. Making sure I did it on both sides, all the legs, let him see the flag out in front of him, behind him, let him hear it up above him. Then he started to be okay with it. You see a little lick and chew there, getting a little bit more relaxed with it. And it was a lot of this for probably 15 minutes or so. Making sure that flag could just touch him and move around without scaring him. You can see how I make sound up above him, and he's pretty okay with it now. Still getting used to it a little bit, coming under his nose. And then he gets to be pretty comfortable with it touching his legs, and then it's time to start to teach him some lunging cues, which is a hard transfer when you've just got him comfortable with the flag. Now you have to get them responsive to the flag. So you don't want them reactive, but you do want them responsive. So now we start working on that, getting him to understand when I point forward, I want him to go forward. And the flag just helps me kind of back that cue up. And then he starts to be able to move forward a little easier. I want to be able to still touch him and it doesn't scare him. Let me try a little bit of trotting here. Work through some confused moments. This is probably another 15 minutes or so, just working on his understanding of my cues and my body language. Making sure he's still not afraid of it there. Let me try a little canter. Does pretty good with that. Make sure that he knows how to stop. Try some more trot, and then I think probably a canter again to the right. And she has a pretty hard time getting the right lead. But he's getting it. So that was the end of our lunging session. And just finished up making sure he wasn't afraid of the flag. I could still touch him and move the flag around, and it didn't bother him. So I was pretty happy with that, and I was ready to move on to showing him some of the equipment. So then I show him the saddle pad, make sure he's okay with that moving around him. I've also put the bridle on just so he can get used to carrying it. Make sure you can see the saddle pad on both sides. Give him some treats, of course. Sweeten the deal. Show him the Schurshingle, make sure he's okay with the girth. He has already had a saddle on before he came to me, so a lot of the Schurshingle and the girth and whatnot is not too worrisome to him. So then we move on to reviewing the lunging cues with his equipment on, just seeing how he responds to the Schurshingle and the saddle pad being on. Make sure that all my cues are still there, still improving. This is still day 1. I think we did another 15 minutes here, just playing with the equipment on, reviewing the lunging cues. So you can see that I point and then I use my flag to help him understand my cue. And here I'm backing up, asking him to stop. So that way I know I've got forward and slow down, go forward and slow down. So this is day 2 when I introduced the saddle to make sure that he is not concerned about that. And you can see he's got the bridle on again, just so he can keep getting used to carrying it. I always like to make sure that my saddle and girth are on really nice and comfortable, so I don't give them any reason to be upset by it. And then I like to flap the stirrups so that way they can see the stirrups and they can hear the stirrups, and that way I can see their response. I usually start light and then a little medium sound and then a real strong snap to the stirrups to make sure that none of that bothers them. Then we go to seeing the flag again, making sure that still doesn't concern him, touching his legs, up above him, make sound kind of like I will when I sit on him. And then reviewing the lunging cues again with the saddle on. So I always like to make sure that my horses can walk and trot and canter, halt, turn around. Those are all the main cues that I practice. Here's the turnaround. There's the canter. Had to work a little harder for that. He's not a very reactive horse. He's very chill and level-headed. He's a really nice horse to work with. There's another turnaround. Practice some more trot. And a canter. And we're still not getting that right lead very well. And there I just practiced calling him into me a little bit. Getting him to follow me. There's some more treats. So this is continuing day 2. I'm just practicing moving those stirrups again. I'm always watching their reaction, trying to make sure there's no worry, that they understand that they don't need to be concerned about it. And there I'm just practicing a little bit of the turning with the lead rope. To make sure that I have some steering once I get on. And here I'm practicing letting him see me on the mounting block up above him, and then letting him see and hear the flag while I'm on the mounting block. And then we're going to practice moving around the mounting block. And then I decided to teach him how to move away from the flag on the ground. So there you can see, that was the first time I asked him to move to my left. And he didn't quite understand, but then he gets the idea. He's not super wound up about the flag, so it takes some encouraging to get him to understand he should move away from that pressure. And again, he's a little confused between whether he should respond or not, because sometimes my body language says you don't have to respond, and sometimes my body language says that you should respond. And he's just getting used to reading my body language. So here you can see me trying the other side, getting him to move to my right. And then I go to the mounting block and I practice the same thing, because I'm going to eventually get it to where he can come to me on the mounting block. So this is day 3, I believe. Actually, I think it's day 4. So we skipped a day of videoing. And today, day 4, I'm starting to practice sitting, moving my leg on him and using the mounting block to help. So that's why on day 2, I was practicing moving him closer to me and getting him to where he understood what that cue meant. So now I can move him closer to me towards the mounting block, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to rub on him and hopefully sit eventually. And here I'm just kind of making sure me being up above him, my leg moving on him, doesn't scare him. And of course, try that on both sides. I want to make sure that he can come to me and then allow me to put my leg on him, rub him on the opposite side, see me on the opposite side, feel my weight a little bit, make sure none of that's scaring him. And I think this was after a lunging review, so there he had a little bit of a walk. Once they get comfortable with seeing me and feeling me up above them, I like to have them walk a couple steps so that way they can realize that I'm kind of attached to them. So that's what I was practicing there. Same thing here, just putting my full body weight on, getting him to take a few steps forward. He's a very good boy. He's had a couple concerns about all this in the beginning. You could see him get just a little bit worried, but then that went away pretty quickly and started to be able to get on and off the opposite side. So that way he could see me on both sides. And there he took another little walk. And then here I'm starting to get a little bit braver so I can stay a little while. And then I actually had a little sit there. And you can see he's pretty comfortable now. Not too concerned about me. And there I'm trying to get him to walk again. Take a couple steps. So I always flap the stirrups on a young horse that's preparing for ridden work. And do it light, medium, hard, because I want to make sure that they're not upset by the sound. Good boy. Do it on both sides. Light, medium, heavy, strong. Good boy. Make sure that doesn't worry him at any point. Very good. Good boy. How about the canter? Good boy, lovely. Good boy. He'll turn around for me here. Good boy. Because he wants to get over to this side. So I'm going to put a little pressure on there. Take the pressure off over there. Don't want him to be drawn to any particular place in the arena. All right, so let's see if he thinks this is all right. Touching him. Good boy. I like to get on, pet, get off the other side. Good boy. So they can see me off both sides, so they don't have time to panic. Good boy. And then once I feel like they're pretty comfortable with that, I like to just practice turning. Good, they can see me. Practice turning. I like to have a really light ability to ask them to stop. It's a little easier and if he gets concerned, to dismount. Oh boy. Let's see if I can give you a treat. Good boy. Good stuff, huh? Good boy. Like that he can just kind of move around. He doesn't seem worried. See if we can keep moving a little. I would like for him to just walk around. Notice that I'm kind of going with him. Oh, here comes the dogs. I think I'll dismount. Good job. Good job. It's always a good time to practice the remount, dismount, and the remount. If you see something that might scare them. Let him look at those scary dogs. I like to be able to get on both sides, so hopefully he'll stay here on this side. I'll give him a treat. So let me. Good job. Trey's gonna take a walk. I'm gonna let him. Hopefully those dogs don't do anything silly. Scary dog. So I'm holding on to the mane a little bit here. A little short on the rope. Prepared to dismount should he get too crazy. I don't really want him to turn around because a lot of times they'll run and buck away from something. So I'd rather him just keep his eyes on the dog and back away slowly. Good boy. Great. Handled that beautifully. Let him walk over here. Have a look. See if I can encourage him to walk off somewhere else. So this is mostly about letting him feel my weight and see me up above him and see that I'm attached to him and going with him, and make sure that he feels okay with all that. He says, I'm gonna bite you off. I don't really want you on there anymore. Good boy. I'm just playing with the steering a little bit here, see if he'll follow that rope. This is his second little walkabout. This is a lot more than his first one. His first walk, he walked about 10 steps and we were done. Bite my shoe? Why are you gonna bite my shoe? He says, why don't you go off? Why don't you walk on your own legs? Oh boy. I'd like him to kind of leave this area, kind of go over there maybe a bit more. But he says, I'm good. I kind of like the gate. The gate is where you get off and we go back to stalls and pastures and food. It's a lot of just letting them experience the idea of carrying a human without freaking out, hopefully. Really liking to go away from the gate, if you wouldn't mind. That's better. Good boy. And just feeling my hand on his butt, his neck, shoulders, both sides. Kind of making it a fun experience for him. It's nothing too exciting. Good, so I use really light leg pressure, but mostly I'm just kind of picking up the rope to encourage him to go. A little classical conditioning to the leg. Good boy. See if we can get all the way over here. Come on. Come on. I don't like it over here. It's kind of scary. Go on. Good boy. Can use my voice a little bit. So he knows that from the lunging. Good boy. So I really don't want to go that way. Good boy. There you went forward. And we can practice the dismount. Good boy. Good job. That's probably enough for today.